Imelda, Daddy's Little Girl. Episode 3. The Long Night. The hospital hallway felt colder than death itself. Tyrell sat frozen outside the delivery room, his hands trembling endlessly while doctors and nurses rushed past him in blurred motion. Everything had started almost 2 days earlier. What was supposed to be a normal labor slowly became a nightmare. For 48 exhausting hours, Jasmine fought through unbearable pain, while Tyrell ran endlessly through hospital corridors, praying desperately for good news. The first hospital kept assuring them everything was under control, but deep down Tyrell felt something was wrong. Nurses moved carelessly. Doctors delayed decisions. Important moments passed while Jasmine grew weaker by the hour. Tyrell spent every naira he had trying to save her. He borrowed money, sold valuables, made endless calls begging for help. Nothing mattered anymore except Jasmine. Then finally, when her condition became critical, they were rushed to a specialist hospital late into the night. The atmosphere there felt different immediately, more urgent, more serious. Doctors worked quickly while Tyrell stood helplessly outside the operating room, feeling his entire world slipping through his fingers. Then came the first heartbreak. Their baby had died. The stress, exhaustion, and complications caused by the negligence and incompetence of the first hospital had become too much for the baby to survive. One doctor explained everything carefully, but Tyrell barely reacted. At that point, he did not care about anything except saving the love of his life. "Please," he begged repeatedly, "just save Jasmine." An emergency C-section was performed to remove the already lifeless baby. The surgery itself was successful. For a brief moment, Tyrell believed maybe God was still listening. Jasmine survived the operation, and when he finally saw her resting weakly in the hospital bed afterward, relief flooded his body so powerfully he nearly collapsed beside her. He held her hand carefully. "You're going to be okay," he whispered emotionally. Jasmine smiled faintly despite the pain. But less than 24 hours later, everything changed again. Her body began shutting down slowly. Doctors rushed in and out of the room while machines beeped endlessly around her bed. Tyrell stood there terrified, holding her hand tightly while begging her not to leave him. Then finally, the doctor stepped out slowly, and Tyrell knew. Before a single word was spoken, he knew. The doctor's eyes carried the kind of sadness no man ever once directed at him. "We did everything we could." The world stopped breathing. Jasmine was gone. For several seconds, Tyrell couldn't hear anything after that. The doctor continued talking softly, but the words faded into silence. All he could see was Jasmine smiling earlier that night. All he could hear was her calm voice. All he could feel was the future collapsing around him. That night broke him completely. He buried his wife and unborn daughter beneath the same earth. 2 graves, one unbearable goodbye. And after the funeral, silence became his new reality. The apartment they once filled with love suddenly became torture. Jasmine's unfinished paintings still rested near the window. Her perfume remained on the dresser. Tiny baby clothes they had bought together stayed, folded neatly inside drawers that would never be opened. Some nights, Tyrell sat alone in darkness, listening to old voice notes from her just to hear her speak again. Because her voice could melt the hardest of hearts. And without it, the world felt painfully cold. Eventually, the pain inside that apartment became unbearable. Every street reminded him of Jasmine. Every restaurant carried memories of her laughter. Every song sounded like grief. Even the air in that town felt haunted by her absence. So one morning, without telling many people, Tyrell packed his things and left town completely. He moved from place to place for years, trying to outrun the memories. But no matter where he went, Jasmine followed him quietly inside his heart. Every city reminded him of something she once said. Every beautiful sunset reminded him of her smile. Every happy couple reminded him of the life they were supposed to have together. Years passed, but grief followed him quietly everywhere. People encouraged him to move on, but they did not understand what Jasmine truly was to him. She wasn't just his wife. She had been home. Will Tyrell ever find his groove back? Find out in the final episode of Imelda